Hello, I'm just taking a moment to say hello while I'm in the process. As you can see behind me, I'm just hanging out with this lady. I have a bunch of things that I need to be doing before the weekend, and instead I am lost in making this painting. And I've decided to have no podcast, no music, just quiet. So I've been an hour or something working with her. And I just wanted to pop in and say hello, that I don't always video the process. In fact, I often don't video the process because I'm always trying to find my way back to myself, to my heart, my soul. And then oftentimes when I fill that up, I feel really inspired to record processes and show the how. But if I put that first, it feels too much like performing. And I lose that touch with my inner wellness, that inner well-being, that's that deep well that you need to dive into to gain your strength, your courage, all the things you need to keep going. So yeah, I just wanted to say hello, and I'm looking at her now and I don't like the way that coat has turned out. The spontaneity of the background is my favorite thing, and when that gets lost I have to usually take another tack and think of a pattern or bring about a design that I paint on. So we'll see where she ends up, but I wanted to say hello. And yeah, I'm often thinking of how to share, when to share, but I wanted to let you know sometime again how I'm thinking. Okay, bye. See you when. I don't know when. Almost time. I need to pause for lunch. So I'm going to pop in here and show you where we're up to. I'm working on two backgrounds of similar colour. And so this one I've just chalked in my design that just came to me when I sat with this for a while. I started to see what could be a bunch of flowers. Now let's see how loose I can leave them. That's my challenge. And then the tea, and then the chairs, you know, the whole chairs, table, tea setting seems to be my theme for now. And that's really making me happy. And then I just can't help I want to do a figure every now and again as well. So this figure came along this morning, and actually I thought I would show you what happens when you take away the chalk marks. And just how really nice those edges can be, kind of loose edges. I love loose edges. And the background it becomes the leaves. So you can see I've got a previous image, one of my cards, that's inspired this one. So it's a bouncing off point is really helpful, even to the palette. There's a nod to the palette, and this helped me to choose the background for this one. Although I can see by the card one, the background's a little lighter. This one's quite strong, striking. So it'll just be a matter of gauging that as I go along, and when I've decided what to do with her outfit, and then see how that responds to the background, whether it changes and stuff. I don't mind making changes completely to a color scheme as I'm going along, because these boards are so small. It doesn't take much to do that, and leaving a piece of the colors behind that you had, just even snippets and whispers of them, it just all brings it into harmony. Even, you know, wanting to keep a little bit of the pink and making it like a heliconia flower helps bring harmony. So it's quite lovely working with these smaller boards for that reason. You can sort of go for it, do whatever you like. It's just a small board, but they have such a lovely energy when I just sort of go slowly with them and see where do they want to go next. And they sometimes have quite the personality of themselves. Oh, she might change a tiny bit, but we'll see. Yeah, so that's where we're up to here. As I've come back in the morning to look at this one, it probably looks a little brighter on the screen than it is in real life. To me, it's actually looking really a little washed out in places. Again, on the screen, not so much, but in real life, it's just maybe the wood has soaked in more than I might have wanted. So I feel like before I get loving this design that I've drawn on, I'm thinking I should add a bit more depth to some of this color and a bit more, see, because what I love is all these sort of transparencies and all these variations, a bit like watercolor. So I guess, I could think of it as a bit of like a watercolor painting. You would leave it like that. It's interesting because it's on wood. I feel like I've got to do differently. So maybe I'll hang out with that idea and just see what I do decide, and I'll come back and share that. A bit more pink. I'm visiting with this pair here. These started off with the similar color background on wood boards, and this week I finished this one and I love it. I love that there's so much movement and energy in it. So I feel that I will be leaving that as it is. I just had a dark blob there, so I added some detail this morning to give it the feeling of some sort of flower. I don't know whether I will vary the color in there yet. I'll just see. And then this one, I was about to repaint her slip, and because I thought it's very dark and it's really drawing the most attention, but I feel like I'm getting a little picky momentarily, and I feel I've thought, no, I'll show you first and talk about it for a moment and hear what I'm saying. And yeah, I feel like, is it drawing too much attention that is where your eye goes and it doesn't really leave it because it's very dark contrast. So as I'm looking at it, that is the feeling I get. It doesn't really take you up. And so you have to ask yourself, is this where I want your eye to stay? Probably not. There's all kinds of other pieces to this, especially a little face and a florally robe. So yeah, I think that might be a good one to take to the iPad and Procreate and have a play before I make some drastic moves, and just enjoy it here for a moment. I did a little bit of tweaking with the robe. Might better see it in the sunlight. So I did it just painting it over a bit, give it a little bit of texture. And I think I'm going to leave this one here. Really quite sweet. Oh, here, this one is very cute. I just had to catch it on camera, looking at this little one sitting here. Philip had started preparing for us to go away for the day, and she followed him and jumped straight in because she hates the idea of being left behind. So sometimes she does stay home and she's fine. She goes to bed for the day. But I love it when we can bring her.
Are you going for a picnic? Are we going for a picnic?
So here she is. And we went to a place called Canada Bay, and herons are particularly of interest to me. I feel like they're a totem animal for me. So there were quite a number of them around this area. It was kind of a grey day, but not cold. It was really lovely. Let's Philip up ahead. And I wanted to take a little video of Aura, but then some people were walking right behind me, so I kind of had to stop. And so there was a golf course around a big section of this bay. So that was interesting. We didn't know. This was a new area to us. So we just went for a big wander around. Yeah. it was quite lovely. Yeah, there's some of the golf course. And this poster with these gorgeous drawings that some children, local children, have done. I love those so much. And then we have set up to have a picnic lunch. It's really nice. Hello. I wanted to say hi. I think I'm going to make this video kind of a short one. I'm having such trouble getting on the train again to be making regular videos. I really wanted to be making regular ones this year. Um, and for some reason or other, things have been just getting away. Oh, it's nice to see this painting up behind me reversed. Um, like I'm often saying, and excuse me, there's workmen next door making a lot of noise, so hopefully not too much of that's coming through. Actually, I might put in some progress pictures of where this painting was and bringing it to where it is now. And it's almost finished. My sweet daughter Kayla was here on the weekend and she pointed out something that was really helpful. Um, the way that I've got um, the grapes and then the apples and then the pineapple, there's green all running through. And she said for her eye, that all joined together. And it's a really good point. Because sometimes when you're so close to a painting yourself, you don't see things that are really obvious as a new person walking through. So I will make some little adjustments so that maybe there's a little bit more yellow there to break up this green and then lighten the grapes. So yeah, it's interesting how that one has just kept on being edited. But I will, yeah, that's what I can do. I can pop in some bits of that. I've decided to rework this painting. I've added in the two chairs at the back, changed the position of the chair on the right, and added this big fruit platter and kind of putting some stray bits of fruit around the table. And I will bring in a tablecloth soon, which will help me clarify what's happening next. It was this beautiful big abstract looking table and this big vase of flowers, but like I've spoken about in different times, when there's too much of the same, which was all of that abstract stuff, something wasn't quite gelling, it would seem. I don't know, it was a very particular type of look that, I don't know whether it wasn't complete or something. It was one of the ones I did, one of the last paintings I did before I left Queensland. And oh, that's funny how the pineapple's arriving now. It's like, that's a very Queensland thing, pineapples. So yeah, it's just going to take on a whole new life, a new look. And yeah, I'm just sort of letting go of all of that delicious mark making that is on the table, really enjoying it. That's why I think I wanted to make a little video right now before I lose all of that under a tablecloth. Yeah, I think, you know, there'll be more tables and there'll be more opportunities, but for this one, that's what I'm feeling to do. Take it in a new direction. Okay, I have done this. I was just having a cup of tea after my lunch and visiting with this and going, all right, what's working now? And I think my favorite thing is that pineapple. I'm a bit disappointed with the density of that fruit bowl. See, my love is that kind of surface where there's all kinds of differences coming through. That's because, yeah, that's what I love. And so I've got that happening in the leaves and I've got that happening in the bouquet. So I need to then be calm and go, okay, I don't have to have it everywhere. That's what I'm telling myself. I don't have to have it everywhere. Let these be the ones that look like this, and this is something else. So I was going to leave the platter, the pale, you know, previous thing that it was, but it was sort of arguing the point with the fruit in a way. So on my drawing in Procreate, I had this platter white, but I feel like that won't work. There'll be too much white. I'm also looking at that vase, how that was really filled with a lot of colour and everything before, which I loved. Now I'm desperately not loving that. So what I think I will do is, I was thinking of doing a sort of a check line on this tablecloth. I might take it back. Oh no, I don't need to take it back to Procreate because that's what I did before. I originally had, you know, these lines. So I'm thinking that's what I want to do, although I'm hesitating. I am hesitating because just now when I was thinking about this vase that I'm really disappointed with, I'm thinking I might make it green glass, which I quite love. It's one of my favourite vases that I own. Is when we visited Sydney a few years ago. I went past a florist with my whole family, us and the two girls. And I went into a florist just because I saw a row of green glass vases and carried that home to Queensland with me. And I've brought it back to Sydney with me. So yeah, green glass vase would make me quite happy, I think, even though it's sort of got that goldfish bowl feeling that as well, but that's okay. Oh, so yes, this I need to hang out with, and it's like I need to lighten some of these things to bring them back again, because I feel like they're all a bit too much of the similar value, something like that. There's a lusciousness to them, but there needs to be a bit more light to them as well somehow. But like I said, I'm loving the pineapple the most. Very interesting. So I sort of want to keep that sort of painterly. You know, what I'm loving is it's got these marks and bits and pieces that are coming through from the bottom. So how do I keep some of that? That is tricky. And look how yummy that looks just on its own. But I've got to have it making sense with the whole thing. And also, this is a problem area, because I changed the chair, I had it there and I realized, oh, it's far too much over towards the corner. So I've pushed the chair back, patched up the wall, and it's the wrong color. So now I'm thinking, oh God, do I have to actually repaint the whole background because of this? That's the problem. That is a problem when you come back to a piece from a while ago and you don't remember where that color was because it was mixed up, especially on the day, probably. So that's the update right now. I will keep you posted. Here it is. Said vase. See how yummy it is? Love it. Love it. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm finished. Adding this tablecloth was sort of the big thing that took me a while to commit to, but adding in the dark chairs is different from what the painting was to start with. It only had that one chair, and then I've added these two, and I like how that their darkness brings us in to look here. There's a rather big celebration of fruit going on, and I did do the green sort of glass vase that I thought I'd like. I must admit, in hindsight, the colour that I had going on behind there before, originally, I really loved. But I knew that because I was bringing a tablecloth, I needed to have the stripes going through there if it was some sort of see-through type of vase. So that's why I committed to losing what I had to have something new. So I think I've been learning quite a lot by doing this painting, by making these changes. It's still, to me, very neat. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and yeah, I'll do my best to get some new videos coming in the coming weeks.